Hey, it is Kenny for Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. I sincerely appreciate that. In this video, I thought I would show a group of records that represents a small sample size of the type of music I listen to when I'm not listening to or reviewing jazz records for YouTube videos or coming here and listen to jazz records. I know a lot of you think of my channel as a jazz record review channel, and for the most part it is. The reason is because that's where I get most of the views, to be quite honest with you. But in earlier videos I did review some records outside of jazz, like Steely Dan and Isaac Hayes. But I thought geared toward people who are newer to my channel, show some records that I listen to outside of jazz records. And this group of records is not meant to be comprehensive, complete in any way. I know some of you out there are going to say, Kenny, you forgot this record, you forgot this genre. I know that, but this is not meant to be complete or comprehensive, so please keep that in mind. Like I said, this is geared toward people who are mainly newer to my channel, hadn't seen some of my older videos, but I think some of you who've seen some of my older videos may like this one. But I'm going to start with, I guess I'll start with the Hollies. Like I said, these are in no particular order, oh, by the way. And I'm trying to go through these kind of quickly because there's quite a few of them. The Hollies, one of my favorite 60s group. I love listening to that type of 60s sound. And Stevie Wonder. I love the Stevie Wonder 70s sound. He had like 4 great back-to-back albums in the 70s. I think he won Record of Year like 3 out of 4 years or something like that. Some crazy record he had. Mary Hopkin, Postcard, has that smash hit, Those Were the Days, and this is a nice album, and I love that type of music as well. Richie Havens, who performed greatly, I believe at Woodstock, where he had that great performance. I love listening to Richie Haven and his music, along with the Association. They had a lot of smash hits. I wonder what my greatest Association hit is, by the way. I don't know if it's Cherish or what, but they had a lot of great hits, Association. And I had to include Rob McEwen, the great spoken word artist, because I just love his lyrics and the spoken word work, so I had to include the great Rob McEwen in this video. Also, I'm going to mention some CDs as well. This is from The Moments. They had that smash hit, Love on a Two-Way Street. I love that great R&B music from the 70s. The Emotions. This one has the hit Best of My Love. The Chambers Brothers from the 60s, late 60s. The Time Has Come. The OJs. I love their work as well. This one features For the Love of Money. That was a great song. The Monkees had a great television series in the 60s and issued some great records with the unique vocals of Mickey Dolenz and Davy Jones as well. Patrice Rushen, what a great keyboard player she is. I know she's played on jazz records, but I thought I'd include her in this video anyway. A nice voice and great keyboard player as well. And Patty Austin, doesn't get the prop she gets. This sister Patty Austin, what a great singer she is. Had to include her. Brian Auger. Now I know his music, features elements of jazz, but Brian Auger, I had to mention him in my video. This group, the We Five. Now the We Five, they had this hit, I think it's called You Were On My Mind on A&M Records. That's a great song. And there's another great song here that you should check out on YouTube. Their version of High Flying Bird is actually real good. You gotta check out High Flying Bird with great lead vocals on that particular song on that record. And Brother Barry White, there's no way he was not going to be in this video. Barry White. One still has a hype sticker. Now this album, Paul Marriott, Blooming Hits, had the instrumental hit Love Is Blue. I did a YouTube short video on this record. You should check it out, where I talk about this album on a YouTube short video I did a couple of years ago probably. Martha Reeves, I love the Motown sound, so I had to include Martha Reeves and the Vandellas what a great underrated Motown group they were, and a great 60s female group they were. And Pink Floyd. I wasn't going to do this video without, sorry for the glare, Pink Floyd. And also Led Zeppelin. I don't know what my favorite Led Zeppelin song is, Whole Lotta Love or Kashmir, but what a great group they were. I love that. I love those prog rock groups of the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. The Righteous Brothers had a whole lot of soul. This record called Soulin' is one of the better Lou Rawls records. And he has a version of, it was a very good year that was quite good. Another record that I listen to when I'm not listening to jazz. Some people consider Lou Rawls jazz, but I'll put him in the soul category, R&B. And Andy Williams, one of the greatest voices ever of all time as far as I'm concerned. I saw him in person once. He did a great job singing. James Brown, I love the James Brown records. I know my older brother loved James Brown when James Brown was issuing all those hits in the late 60s, 70s. And Bobby Gentry, Ode to Billy Joe, that song was a song that really cast a wide net in terms of reaching a large audience, because a lot of people who love jazz, pop, country really loved the song Ode to Billy Joe. That was a great song, great performance by Bobby Gentry and Johnny Rivers, the great Johnny Rivers. Sorry for the glare. Percy Sledge, one of the greater R&B singers, with his smash hit When a Man Loves a Woman. And Spanky and Our Gang with the lead singer Spanky McFarlane. I think your first name is Elaine, I think. And they had a lot of hits as well, like I Got to Get to Know You and other great songs by Spanky and Our Gang. And one of the greatest singers of the 60s. You can't think about great singers of the 60s and not mention Barbra Streisand. I'm not saying she's the greatest female singer of the 60s, because she's not, but she was great nonetheless, in my opinion. Also, Brenda Lee. I think she had this song called All Alone Am I, which is quite good. And The Doors, featuring Jim Morrison. I love blues. Lightning Hopkins. Blues is a great genre. I think my favorite blues singer might be Howlin' Wolf. That dude was good. That dude was great. The Animals. I love soundtrack albums and songs. This is a Spike Lee debut song. And he's one of my favorite directors, producers. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. I think the greatest directors, producers, you talk about, Spike Lee, Alfred Hitchcock, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, Sidney Lumet. There's a lot of great ones out there. Alistair MacLean was great. The Beau Brummels, they had this hit called Laugh, Laugh that was pretty good. And again, this video is meant, like I said, meant for people who are newer to my videos, haven't seen my older videos. These are non-jazz records. Just stuff that I listen to when I'm not listening to or reviewing jazz records, because it's more the music than just jazz. It's more the music than the category of the genre that's your favorite. And let me put it that way. There's more the music than the genre that you love and enjoy. Dire Straits, and I should have brought out Tears for Fears as well. Two of my favorite bands from the 80s. I just forgot, a misstep on my part. And Vanilla Fudge, that their cover of You Keep Me Hanging On is just as good as the Supreme's version, if not better. You Keep Me Hanging On by the Vanilla Fudge. Sade, I was getting all the records in the 80s. I have a lot of them on my shelf. Big fan of Sade. Had to include her. Let's go to the CD Steppenwolf. The Escorts, a great R&B group. And also the Dells. They have a version of, what's the name of that song? I think it's called Love is, I Can Sing a Rainbow, Love is Blue. If you want to hear a great song, let's do I Can Sing a Rainbow, Love is Blue. It's all one song. They combined them together by the Dells. What a tremendous R&B song that is. Isaac Hayes is a great album. Craft Recordings issued this on one of their One Step High quality record issues, and I have that. That's a great record. Rupert Holmes. Now, he was really great in the late 70s. He had this song in 1979, I think, called Hymn. If you want to hear a great song, listen to Hymn by Rupert Holmes. That was a smash hit by Rupert Holmes, I think around 79. And you got to include the greatest pop band of all time. It's not even close. They are the greatest pop band of all time. I'm trying to go through these quickly. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. I love listening to him when I'm not listening to jazz. The first edition. Now, the first edition was a group that featured Kenny Rogers. Those of you who are young, Kenny Rogers is right there. I think at one time it could have been named Kenny Rogers in the first edition. But they had this hit called Just Dropped In. Check out Just Dropped In by the first edition. That's a nice song. Steve Lawrence, I should have brought out an Edie Gourmet record, but he has a nice voice. I love listening to that type of music. I love easy listening. That's a great genre. War. This is their all-day music album, and I can listen to War all day long. They might have some elements of jazz in their music. Police featuring Sting. As far as I'm concerned, I said this in many videos. Parliament was my favorite band in high school. Parliament Funkadelic, led by George Clinton. A masterful album. They put out some great work, like in the mid to late 70s. The Byrds. I think Turn, Turn, Turn. It might be my favorite song of theirs. Mr. Tambourine Man is great too. Isley Brothers, another one of my high school favorites when I was in high school. The Isley Brothers, what a great band they were. The Stones, got to include the Stones. Like I said, there's more to music than just jazz. Herb Alpert, he's not jazz. I know he's a trumpet player. He's more of like a easy listening pop. This is one of the more iconic album covers ever made. The greatest singer of all time, for my money, is Aretha Franklin. I love listening to Aretha on my system. The Fifth Dimension, the first concert I went to was a Fifth Dimension concert with my parents and family in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was one of those dinner shows where you actually got a dinner with your meal. That's how long ago it was. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. The greatest guitar player of all time, Jimi Hendrix. I listen to a lot of Hendrix records. I think I have one or two UHDRs from Analog Productions of Jimi Hendrix. BT Express. Great R&B group. Now, I'm showing this record right here. This is for Todd. Todd is one of my greatest viewers. He watches all my videos, comments a lot. I think he might live in Portland, I believe. He loves Earth, Wind, and Fire. So do I, led by the great Maurice White. Todd, according to him, Earth, Wind, and Fire can't do no wrong, and I can't blame him. Earth, Wind, and Fire, I love them. I love listening to classical music, whether on record or CD. It sounds great if you have a nice stereo setup, which God blessed me with. One of my greatest bands of all time, Sergio Mendes in Brazil, 66, featuring Sergio Mendes on keyboard, piano, and the great Lanny Hall, vocals. Lead vocals. Love folk music, so I'm going to include Pete Seeger. Folk is a great genre, no doubt. It is very beautiful. It's a very beautiful art form. Ravi Shankar playing the sitar. Otis Redding, The Dock of the Bay. This album, if I recall from my YouTube short on that Paul Marriott Blooming Hits album, that Paul Marriott Blooming Hits, either the single or the album was number one in the charts. It got knocked off the number one spot by The Dock of the Bay, if I recall from my video. Roberta Flack with her great hit, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. What a great and beautiful song that is. She has a tremendous voice. And my parents love Johnny Mathis, and so do I. I have a lot of Johnny Mathis records. I have a few more. The Rascals. I'm trying to figure out what my favorite Rascal song is. How Can I Be Sure was a great one. That was a smooth hit, man. That was great. Buffalo Springfield. This has For What It's Worth on it. The Carpenters, featuring Karen Carpenter, one of the greatest unique voices of any time. Johnny Cash, I can't stand country music, but I love Johnny Cash. I mean, this dude just, when you think of cool, just show a picture of Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was a man as far as I'm concerned. Ferrante and Teicher, they were easy listening. Both piano players, dual piano players, but they were masters at the piano and their music was great. So I love listening to them and easy music. That's a great genre. Iron Butterfly, had to include them. That's one of my favorite albums. The Four Seasons, I should say. Another great one. MJ, I'm not talking about Michael Jordan. Michael Jackson has to be on my list. It was a smash hit. One of my favorite albums of all time. One of the first super groups, Cream. I love Cream. I listen to a lot of their records on my system when I listen to jazz. The group Love, led by Arthur Lee. One of the great underrated groups of all time. This is a great record, by the way. One of the greatest records ever made. The Drifters. I love the sound of the Drifters. My son loves Beyonce, and so do I. According to my son, she can do no wrong. Every time she goes on a concert tour, my son goes to see her. Beyonce. Her Lemonade album. Again, folk type of music. The Rooftop Singers, Walk Right In. That was a hit for this group, this trio. Rolls Royce was one of my favorite bands in the 70s. And their song Wishing on a Star is probably the best song ever produced in the 70s. Or very close. It's a song like that, Wishing on a Star, or, gosh, I'm trying to think of Carole King, It's Too Late is up there as well. A bunch of great songs in the 70s. Boz Scaggs, I should say, because of Lowdown, had to include this record. This was a hit when I was in high school. That was another song that really, spanned a lot of genres. I don't care if you like jazz, R&B, soul, you like Lowdown. I think this is the last one. The Four Tops. What a great group they were. There's a lot of other records I could have brought out. Like I said, this is not meant to be comprehensive in any way, just a small sample size. There's glaring omissions. If I were to include a lot more, this could be like a 2-hour video. So I have to keep it condensed. That's a small sample size. I know some of you guys are going to say, Ken, you forgot this band, you forgot this group. I wasn't trying to show every band, every group, just a small sample size. But like I said, I love a lot of records. When I come here, I do not always listen to jazz. I listen to a variety of music. I do jazz on my YouTube videos because, to me, that's where I get the most views. And that, as a YouTuber, is the name of the game. You may be wondering what book that is in the background. And this book is a radio book, Zenith, Transoceanic, the Royalty of Radios. They made a line of great radio, shortwave radios. It's a nice book. I had this one in the past, and this one too. When I sold both of them, it's one of my greatest regrets because those Zenith shortwave radios were actually quite good, and I really loved, listening to shortwave radio back in the day. I got to get into that. I had like a top of the line Grundig shortwave radio, Sony shortwave radio, Zenith. I got to get back into that when I can, when I have the funds for that. But these days, I'm saving my nickels and dimes for records. Please leave your comments in the comments section below. I really appreciate that. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love. And please keep the peace where it lies.